morning, everybody. So we will start today with the pleasure to see a presentation of Francesco Grassi from Italy. He's a science writer. He has collaborated as an effective member of the Italian Committee for the Investigation and Claims of Pseudoscience. And he will talk us about crop cycles. From UFOs to crop cycles, how humans became aliens. I didn't know I was an alien, but I'm happy to know it.
Not told.
And it's a subject he knows very well, because he published the book Crop Cycle Signs of Intelligence, and he also makes himself some crop cycle. So, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Bonjour, good morning. I am a circle maker. I am a creator of temporary temples, and we as circle maker we use several alien tools that I can show you here this morning. So this is one of the main tools that you will see in action later. This is to flatten the crop and create these shapes. We use also these things to mark some spots in the field, or these flags here, to stick in the ground and then mark the spot. And of course, we use tape meters because we need to keep distance between all the circle makers that make the formation. Okay, so what I will do this morning is to lead you through a journey of this modern belief system from the origin to today. Okay, so let's start. Let's rewind the tape. What you see here is what you should know. What are the crop circles? Crop circles are these drawings that appear in the fields. Basically, this progression shows the progression, the complexity evolution of the system. But the name of the phenomenon, it's still crop circle. So the beginning of the story is a circle, simple circle. And then it became something else, much more complex, much more intricate, with different shapes that you will see, or describing very clearly who are the originator of this, right? But I will tell you more. So, where this phenomenon started? Actually, it's not a global phenomenon. It's a very specific. It started in UK. Because this is the very first photograph of a crop circle that appeared in an English magazine, that is Wiltshire Times, exactly the 15th of August of 1980. And actually, the Wiltshire is where the homeland, where the crop circles are created, mainly of that. What you have seen during these years, since the beginning, is here, basically, not in all the part of all the region of the world. So let's rule out who was the first people that created this phenomenon from the mediatic point of view. So the first was Dr. Terence Meaden, that you see here. Dr. Terence Meaden was the scientific side of the researchers, because he is a meteorology scientist. So we will see in the next slides what Terence Meaden did as an hypothesis of the origin of the phenomenon. And then we have, on the other hand, Pat Delgado and Colin Andrews. These two factions, actually, so Terence Meaden and Pat Delgado, they represent the two main factions that were at the beginning of the phenomenon. So the Meadenites were all the people that were supporting the Terence Meaden hypothesis of the plasma vortices that we'll see in the next slide. And on the other hand, we have the Delgadonians that supported what Pat Delgado was reported. And actually, the Delgadonians are here. Maybe not in this room, but this is the only part of the believer side that is still going on. So this is 1989, the first of the two books that were published about crop circles. And here we are going to see what Terence Meaden was saying about the origin of the crop circles. Let's have a look.
The natural vortices are the result of inflowing air that whirls inwards and goes upwards. But here we've got evidence of something which has come downwards. Well, the answer is vortex breakdown. Vortices just become unstable under certain conditions. And they break down and they do go the opposite way. The crop circles are evidence of this. And this is what's so important for meteorology in the first place.
So we have a real scientist that is doing an hypothesis on what's the origin. So imagine you see these kind of things, and you study the atmosphere and all the physical phenomena. So in this case, as you have heard by Terence Meaden, is saying that there is a new phenomenon that we don't know. It's so-called. So he introduced the plasma idea inside the vortices, but we need some vortex that is going from from up to the bottom, and not as usually happens when the whirlwinds or the tornadoes and so on. So that goes from the ground to the top. But so this could be a rational thinking, right? But let's see the other side. So the Delgadonians. So the Delgadonians published. Delgado, this book that is Circular Evidence, still 1819. And Circular Evidence was, as a matter of fact, the real first book that was published and translated all over the world. That's the start of the mediatic phenomenon in terms of how it spread around the world. And what Pat Delgado and Colin Andrews, as co-author, what they were saying. They were saying nothing. They were saying, we don't know which is the origin. It could be this, could be that. But basically, the phenomenon is intelligent. We recognize there's something intelligent in the phenomenon because the shapes are more complex. Something is happening. It seems that the phenomenon is responding to us. As you see here, it's not clear, but in this case, Pat Delgado is using the Dawson metallic rods to investigate if the circle, we call circle even if you do a square, if the circle you are walking in is genuine or not. So the problem of the genuinity of the formation was known because someone said, could be humans. Yeah, they said, but the humans does not explain everything. Okay, but let's skip a little bit on the UFO side. Why? It will be clear in the next slides. But if you see something like that, and you are suggested by, the UFOs in terms of aliens or starship that are coming from the outer space, so what the hell is going on? Could be that it's happening this. Some UFOs are landing and something is happening. And I show you something that some of you could recognize. This was Commander Straker. I don't know if somebody is reminding, very famous also in Italy and in Europe, I believe. So Commander Straker was the chief of this organization, Shadow, and they were fighting against the aliens coming from the outer space. And this ship is could crash or land, and which kind of shape could do these kind of things? If a UFO is circular, of course, it could do a circular shape. So that's the connection between the two things. But we will skip this because we need an entire lecture on the UFOs. Unidentified flying object is the real meaning. So the problem of the ufology is that we need a witness, and the witness doesn't know what's happening, so everything is related to the witness. The ufology started officially, let's say, in 1947 with this sighting of Canetano, but let's go to the CE2. CE2 maybe doesn't mean nothing to you, but if I say that C means close, oh yes, E is encounter and 2 is of the second kind. Okay, so in the ufology, someone started to organize and collect the things and do some, Hynek, yes, right, I didn't want to go through in details. Hynek started to do the same. So when you see a UFO, or you believe, or you think it's, you don't understand what it is, you say that you have seen a UFO. But if you believe that it was closer to you and the distance between you and the sighting was less than 150 meters, is close encounter of the first kind. But if you find something like this, after that you see a UFO, so you see a mark in the field, okay, or other physical traces maybe on your body or something like that that you relates to the UFO, that's the second kind, okay? And then we have the third kind with the famous movie of Spielberg that we know, and ufology maybe went to the sixth kind and seventh kind, and I don't know, any other kinds of... why I'm telling this story? Because we are in Australia, Tully, in Queensland, and precisely we are in 1966, January 1966. This guy here, George Pedley, is going to work in a field with a tractor. And at a certain point of time, he heard a very loud hiss, noise, so he thought it was one of the wheels of the tractor, but suddenly he stopped and he discovered that the tractor was fine. But he looked to the sky and he saw this kind of thing. So he saw two saucers like that, as he described. So he saw a UFO, and he reported that the distance was less than 150 meters, so first kind. But then, when with the tractor was moving around this area, so he saw some swamp vegetables rotating on the water in a circular shape. This is a real photograph in 1966. And so he reported that the UFO created that. So we have the second kind. Why I'm telling this? Because this guy here, Douglas Bauer, he was working in Australia at that time, 1966, but he was an Englishman. And he came back to UK in 1968, where he met another important guy for this story, that is David Chorley. Together they were friends, and they became, in 1991, the most famous people in the world because of this.
So if what these two gentlemen say is true, and there's no reason to suppose they're telling anything but the truth, this could be the very last chord circle.
So it's fun, yes, but we are here in 1991 after 11 years from the official start of the phenomenon. At a certain point, these two guys said, hey, we started this, we created this, we started this because the idea is from Doug Bauer. The crazy idea, or the general idea was, when he went back from Australia, he reminded that the close encounter of the second kind, and the Friday night, the pub, the beer. So they were also artists. They were painters, And Doug said, can we go in a field and create a circular shape? Because the UFOs are circular. So we create a circular shape so the people that will go there will say, oh, a UFO is landed. That's a joke. They started like that. They started in 1978 and nobody was caring about this. But in 1980, something happened and the media and the local media, they started to give attention to the phenomenon. And so the thing started. The problem of this is that, of course, they were laughing, you know, because they were going to the conferences of the Midianites and the Delgadonians. So they were hearing what they were saying. And actually, they didn't like the Median side of things, because Median said it's a vortex, it's a stupid thing. It's not intelligent. While, on the other hand, the Delgadonians, they say it's a known intelligence. And they liked very much this. So they did everything opposite as Median was reporting. Because Median needed some circular, you know, a vortex cannot do triangles, or it could do, but I don't know. We never seen a vortex doing triangles. At a certain point of the story, they fought together, the Delgadonians, the Midianites, and the Delgadonians say, oh, we need a triangle now, because we don't care. We have a reason, and suddenly appeared triangular shapes and so on. So they conducted they led this, you know, the phenomenon from the dark side. So they made more complex shapes during the years. The problems for Doug and Dave was that they started, but other people came in to the story, because, you know, we can emulate. We are humans. We emulate. If I see something that is gaining attention, maybe I can reproduce, and I can gain attention from a side. So at a certain point, they said, hey, we started this in 1999. But it was too late, because a lot of believers were already originated and thinking and writing and doing everything around this phenomenon. Very quickly, because this is very massive, because a lot of so-called researchers, to exclude the possibility that humans are doing these kind of things, they created the rules of the impossibility. And I will show just one, but there are hundreds of that. It is impossible for people to move around in a crop field without leaving traces of their passage. And so that's the explanation for the fact that the humans cannot do these kind of things. Okay? And maybe you can read still today these kind of rules. Just to show, this is a picture of mine. This is the so-called tram lines. The phenomenon is in English. In UK, they call these kind of things tram lines. So you can enter the field using the tram lines. You go everywhere. You create a circle. You exit from the same tram lines. And that's it. So just to show you that this rule of impossibility is nonsensical. There are a lot of others. But we have to be very, very quick. So I have to go to the point. Circlemakers. I mentioned at the beginning of my journey the temporary temples. So something happened. It's not so fun. A lot of people enter the field. They go into this formation and they do something, anything that is kind of religion, right? So they do all rituality, cults, and so on, everything they do. So this is the light side of the phenomenon. But in 2004, when I was investigating this since 4 or 5 years, I went to the UK, 2004, to understand exactly how this is done and why. Because this is the problem. It's fun, or, you know, why still today people are making a joke on this? Is it real? And what I found is the most incredible thing that I can report to you. Because I met this guy. This guy is called Matthew Williams. He is an English circle maker. And when I arrived, so he picked me up and he said, "What do you want to do here?" And I said, "I want to stay here," and so on. I didn't want to say, "I want to make crop circles." But I arrived in the morning, and Matthew said, "Do you want to make crop circle this night?" Yes. So my first night, I went into the field, and I knew about this, and you will hear from his voice, but it's the strangest and weirdest thing that I learned studying and investigating this phenomenon. Because this kind of crop circle maker, they make an oration before creating the circle, right? Let's hear.
Down on us tonight, please give us the inspiration that we require to complete this circle. Also, please give us protection whilst we are working in the fields tonight. And also, can this formation be instilled with energy that will inspire people who look upon it, and also give healing to those that might enter this formation. Amen.
It could be fun, but believe me, when you are in the field with the dark, doing this oration and closing the oration with amen, all the people that are participating to this say amen, it's not so fun because it's something more happened during the years, right? So I experienced directly that is not only the believer's side of the light side, there is also a belief system in the creator's side of this phenomenon. And this is very strange or new to me. That was very strange and new to me, and this is important to know about this. So this could be one of the motivations that still give fuel to these guys to create new formation and make the things more complex. But let's skip and let's go ahead. So I went back to Italy in 2004 because I stayed just 1 week and I made a lot of circles there. And believe me, all the circles that I made there were reported as genuine. Okay? So we as CICAP, we made some circles. This is just one of the examples. That was for a program, the television program that we did in 2008 with other two friends of CICAP. So you see a kind of simple shape, right? And someone can say, "Oh, but this is not good because it's very simple. Human can do this." But remember, it started in 1980 with simple circle. That a simple circle with this dimension here. So this was, if I made this in 1980, that was the mother of all the formation. Okay, so the technique, you will see the videos, you will see other things, but so I don't show you which is the basic, which are the basic techniques that we use, but or maybe you already know. But the problem that I had when I started this, so I started to create, to make articles showing what's happening. So I'm saying, we have evidence that crop circle were existing in 1678. No, it's not true because it's a pamphlet. And I explain everything. Oh, we have the dead flies. The dead flies were died in a strange way. It's impossible for the humans to do that. And I explain why it's happening this. But I wanted to go deeper in this. So I understood that the only way this is valid for everyone. So for every one of us to exit from the circle, because if you go in circle, you arrive to the same point, so it's starting point. So you go in circle. So if you create your own circle, there is no story. You know who is the author of that circle. That's the point. Otherwise, you cannot prove anything. Right? So, but the problem of this is that the human factor is very important. Like in medicine. When you take a pill, Okay, the human factor should be avoided as much as possible. So you need a blind study. So you need to do something, and the other should not know what's happening behind, right? So I decided in 2011 to make a social experiment with a blind study to give my artwork to the community of the crop circle believers and see what's happening. And this is what I did. So the inspiration was, we were in 2011, right? So you know that it was happening at the end of the world in 2012. And I got the inspiration from the Planet X, you know, Nibiru, and so on. So let's be quick. There is mythology created by this Zachary Sitchin that mixed the Sumerian gods, and he wrote some books mixing as extraterrestrial. So there is this myth going around the ufology believers and so on. But anyway, the Anunnaki, they are leading this, the Planet X society, and the planet is called Nibiru, and Enki is the lead of the extraterrestrial. Actually, is Sumerian god, but that was the legend. So I got all these elements, and I started to think, yeah, I have to create a circle based on the 7. Okay, so if you take a circle and imagine to radiate some 7 radius from the external circumference, you can have 7 radius. Then I incorporated the idea to encode some code here, some message, real message there inside. So if you see here, flattened, not flattened, 0, 1, you can create a code there. So the first radius is saying E, the second radius going clockwise is saying N, and so on. So there I wanted to write Enki. Then, as you can see, I invented other phases, other steps to create some geometrical forms around this idea with a central maybe star, 7-point star. And then when you see gray, it means flattened. When you see white, the crop will be standing. So the idea is to flatten this area, but you see here some circular shapes. So the idea was, okay, I give the medicine, the real medicine, but I put as well the placebo effect. So we created in a random way this tuft of wheat standing. We didn't know in advance, so it was very random. Okay, so from theory to practice in Piedmont, it was June 2011. We were 7 Anunnaki. You remember the Anunnaki? So we have as well 2 aliens with us, Agent Vortex and Agent Bull. So we went into the field and we realized the plan. And going from the dark side to the light side, we did some pictures from above, and that was the result. You see the place of the farmer owner, and that's the shape that we realized. Okay? The dimension of this, the size of this is 100 meters by 100 meters. Okay? So it's very big. And you have to know that the aliens, they use the walkie-talkie to talk with this. We published in an anonymous way these pictures onto a very famous website, English website. It's called cropcircleconnector.com. So all the community in 2011 started to, doing reasoning and publish things. And someone recognized that, there could be some message there. What's the message? And, the binary use ASCII code binary incorporated information. It was not so original. It was already used by some other people that I don't know, but I did the same thing. So someone Googled, and they found Enkiea. Oh, Enkiea, yeah, Nibiru, Planet X, and Zechariah Sitchin, and so on. So, that's a warning. So some other people, they found these pictures of Enkiea, and I didn't know. Enkiea was with a lot of tattoos, with 7-pointed star on his arm, and that's a confirmation that something non-human is happening there. Climate change, I forecast everything. A lot of things. You can go over the internet, try to find Enkiea crop circle 2011. You find whatever you want. But we have to let me comment this. So the placebo effect, they started to connect the dots. So they started to say, yeah, Enkiea is written there, but what's there? There is a constellation, yes, could be. So they found a lot. This is the sun. What's happening here? You know what's happening there? It's an error, a mistake, human mistake. That should not happen. One of my team, or one guy of my team, thought to be here, but it was there. Okay? Human mistake, it happens. And if I said it's my hard work, the believers would say, oh, it's a bullshit. But the placebo effect, or the fact that it's a blind study, they didn't know. So they start to think a lot of things, and they started to, oh, this is a marker point. We should start from here. And actually, if you start from here to read, you find E, okay, A, okay, and then E, N, K, Y, and then space. And you say, okay, but what's the point? But let's count the standing tufts. 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, and 5. We wanted that? Absolutely not. It's random, okay? But they make together the things together. So 3, 3 means it's the third word that someone is communicating. 4, 4, 4, it's the fourth word that someone is communicating. And actually, it connects to Enki, right? And then this is the fifth, right? And it's the space. Oh, this is the confirmation that Enki, it's coming from the space. So the keyboard space became the outer space. Very incredible. But you will find tons of things. But let's go to the final side. So skip ahead, 2023, 1 year ago, we in Piedmont, in Bra, Cuneo, the night between the 3rd and 4th of June last year, we made a circle with the CICAP trainees. So all the year we have the CICAP training course where we have several lessons, and all the trainers, they explain everything. So all the skeptics, tools and stuff and information. And that was a practical operation that we did. That was the field. So you see the field without the formation here. This is a bee that was saying, oh, what's happening here? There's some aliens coming on. And this is a tree, a fallen tree that you can recognize in the video. And that was the project that I created for all the people that were in the crop training course of CICAP. And you can recognize a kind of similarity, right? So if you are, it's like an art, because an artist, you can recognize the style maybe, okay? So if you are smart. I wanted to do something similar. I wanted to do something that was possible with the standard tools that the Circlemakers used in the 80s, because now we use other technologies, or that's the basic things, but we can use other technology. For instance, laser. We use laser, but in the 80s, Doug and Dave, they hadn't laser. But this formation, that's the idea, and you see we have 9-point star, kind of, and you recognize the possibility to incorporate some code in it, and we did it. Okay, this is the size. Again, this is the drawing. Okay, this is the pizza table that we had before doing the crop circle. This is before, this is after. Some friends after the circle, so maybe you can recognize our friend that helped me in doing this, and this is the final result. Okay, again, we are around 100 by 100 meter. No, in this case it was 70 meters, and it's the top view of the formation. And you can recognize the fallen tree here that I've shown before. Before having a look to the video that is describing the making of this formation, that is the last part of my presentation, something strange happened, but before was the decoding of the message that you wrote. Yeah? So you start from here, and you go to CICAP.org, right? So the aliens knows exactly where to go over the web. And you see here these dots that, in this case, they were not random. They just was to create some shapes. But the incredible happened again, because if you interpret this dot as 00100, you have an ASCII, the dollar symbol. I didn't want that, but it happened. But if you interpret in binary as pure binary, you have 36, but actually it's 36, it's 3 June. It was the night that we made the circle. Another confirmation that something strange is happening. But if you interpret in terms of Morse code, you have T, T, E, T, T, E, T, T, and you have this one, the string. This is strange. It's strange maybe for you, but for an Italian, it's not strange because that, means something familiar, let's say. But this is connectable in some way because the location was Bra. Yeah, and in English it's Bra, but even in French I think it's Brassiere. So everything is connected. So, but there is more, because if you discard the 2T at the beginning and at the end, you have this strange word. Maybe someone of you is coming from some places, and if you Google and you go to the Hungarian, you find vocabulary. You find that tetet, I don't know the right pronunciation, means pretend, fake. Oh, it's in Hungarian. So what do you think? It's the real connection. It's very simple. Soros, dollars, and we go back to close the circle. So we can go in circle here. So let's have a look to the making of video, and this ends my presentation. Merci and thanks.
I'm afraid maybe we can take one question, just changing the computer.
My question is, what's your relation with the farmers? Did they ask compensation? Or perhaps they could sell the wheat with a special price as cosmic pastries and so.
The normal way the crop circles are made is illegally. So the people, like the graffiti, you go, do the artwork, and go out. But in my case, I have to do legally, right? So I agree the usage of the land with landowner. So in my case, everything is legal, and of course, because we cannot do differently. So that's so I don't encourage you to do illegally, but I encourage to do this legally, because it's really a good thing. I mean, in terms of art, and you know even the background now. Did I answer?
They have a compensation for it.
Yeah, some they ask compensation. Some others they say it's okay because a lot of pilgrims will come in my land. They will know me, and so on. So it's a kind of automatic compensation. But in any case, it's agreed between me and the owner.
Merci d'avoir regardé cette vidéo. N'hésitez pas à la partager autour de vous et à vous abonner sur notre chaîne YouTube pour recevoir les prochaines. Nous vous rappelons également que vous pouvez retrouver le dernier numéro de la revue de l'afis-science et pseudoscience en kiosque et sur notre boutique en ligne, ainsi qu'accéder gratuitement à tous les anciens numéros sur notre site internet afis.org et sur notre application smartphone afis-science. De plus, si vous souhaitez soutenir notre association, vous pouvez également adhérer via notamment notre site internet. Encore merci, à bientôt!